Okay, so here we are. We're on Miller Hill, and this is part two of the Christmas breads. What should I call it? Christmas bread, something. I can't remember what word I chose to name this. Not adventure episode. I think I called it the Christmas bread episode, but this is not exactly an episode. This is not a recipe. This is the story. This is the backstory. This is the why to the how that I did last night. So I spent all day doing the how, and Mom wasn't really aware that I was making Christmas bread, even though it's been on her mind. She has many things on her mind. So this is Saturday morning, having made the bread last night, Friday. I documented that. It will be up on YouTube. And I think I mentioned, you probably noticed that I thought it was the best I had ever made. And so here, this is the least attractive loaf. It's one of the larger loaves, and it fell in this corner. So it is the runt of the litter, I guess you could say.
Imperfect.
So because it's the runt, we're going to start with that. We're going to start with the runty end, and I'm going to have Mom cut it. And as she's cutting, and to her at whatever speed that she wants to, what I've asked her to do is to talk about whatever she remembers about Christmas bread, whatever she can remember about the earliest memory about her mom making it, and once again, the why, as opposed to the how to do it. So this is just, so onward we go. So I'm going to get some plates, and she'll talk about all the things she can remember about Christmas bread related. And we may have to do a retake on this, we don't know. There's a lot we can say about our memories, because here we are, I'm 66, and Mama, if she remembers how old she is, and you don't get to add any days to the present day. So what are you, how old are you, Mama?
I'm 88 right now. And she says I can't put the other year on there, even though it's very soon.
Yeah, we're learning patience in our life.
Oh,
right
patience.
Now. That's what we're practicing, right? Okay.
Well,
all right.
I'm looking at this loaf
okay.
of bread and thinking about all the past years when I made it. I continued to make it even when it didn't turn out well. I never gave up. I kept on trying to make a better loaf next time, because I don't know why I was so attracted to this. I don't even know that I ever remember when my mother made it, but she must have made it sometime. The thing is, she was not here in the United States every time, and sometimes she wasn't here at all. So I had to make up what I remembered, and I don't truly know where she got it because her mother had died when she was very, very young. So it was her stepmother. Laura reminded me her name is Wilhelmina, and
Clara was 4.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And Aunt Laura, but wasn't Aunt Laura her mother?
Oh, what? No, Aunt Laura had the same mom as Clara.
Who did?
Laura and Clara had the same mother.
Oh.
But Laura was a baby, and so Laura doesn't remember her real mother, but Clara did. Clara did remember her real mother.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. I tried to remember when I ever ate any that my mother had made. And I truly.
So it's so funny that you don't remember your mother making it, but you remember her using potatoes.
Yes, I do.
So that you must, since you know that, that's toward the end, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of funny, but we're gonna go ahead and cut it, Mama. You try.
Oh, Laura
And see
says
if
I
it's
get
too
to
hard.
make the first
You
cut.
make the first cut.
The first
Here,
cut.
well, wait, I want to move it a little. No, we have to move it further away. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna work to show you. Maybe not. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
We'll have to show them. We'll show them the
Yeah.
slice. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to cut yourself. Okay?
No. I'm just looking forward to having
Just
some.
you hold it up when you have a pretty thing to
I
hold up,
will, but
so we can see
all
the
that
inside.
has all the fruit and nuts at one end.
Remember I told you how hard it was to distribute those fruit and nuts.
Yes.
So we're gonna get a score on that part. And
Yeah,
then
this is better. Oh, look. Beautiful.
hold it up. Hold it. Hold the loaf up.
Beautiful.
Hold the loaf up, Mama. Hold the loaf up.
Oh, the loaf up.
Mhm.
Look at.
Yeah.
You know,
There
and
you go.
other people in their homes, they were used to fruit cake. And a lot of people would say, oh, I don't like fruit cake anyway. And I said, well, this is not fruit cake. Not fruit cake. No, beautiful, beautiful.
Can you cut me a nice slice too, Mama? That would be that one can be for you and
Oh,
one can be for me.
look at how lovely
Okay.
this is distributed. It's distributed beautifully, beautifully. There. Oh, yeah, we get to have some, Laura.
Yeah,
We get to have some,
we
maybe.
do. In fact, we have to have some.
Yeah,
'Cause
maybe
it's part
we
of the
could
job.
have some coffee with it.
Oh, maybe we can.
Maybe.
So while I'm doing that, I want you to remember as much as you
Yeah.
can about being a young mother
Yeah,
with children going to school and thinking, but those are the days I remember you making a couple batches, trying to wrap them up and how you would wrap them in foil.
I
Talk
tried.
about the traditional way to present it, because you always wrapped it in foil and always put ribbon around it, curled up ribbon. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah, I did. And I would give them as gifts to our
Yes,
friends.
and I can see you having at least 10, 15 loaves to give.
Yeah.
Maybe they were a little smaller than this, maybe.
Yes, this is really beautiful, 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 beautiful Christmas bread. Yeah, my mama made it, and I guess she must have gotten it from her stepmother. Anyway, Laura's gonna heat me some
We're gonna get
coffee.
some coffee, because you gotta have coffee.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I see this butter knife got the little something else at the end.
Is it all sticky?
It looks like it.
Okay.
I didn't want to try it.
Wouldn't you want to touch it?
Well, I don't know. So I remember my mom always liked peanut butter on it, which I couldn't understand about eating peanut butter on this lovely bread, but that's the way she liked it, just the way she liked it. Yes. Yeah. Laura has perfected this recipe. Perfected it. So I hope it's written down someplace the way she makes it.
So talk about your traditional favorite way to do it.
Oh,
Talk about it, Mama.
yeah, Mom. Right now
Right
I'm
now you're
baking it.
eating. Maybe we'll pause it for a minute. So I'm gonna have to close this part of the program up myself, I think. So, the taste test. Remember I made a couple of adjustments as I made the sugar batch, and one was to cut the sugar down from the 2 cups in the original recipe to 1.5 cups. Um, it works for me, but I can imagine, depends on what you want with it. If you want something to put sweet on, like the jam, I think it's perfect. But if you're just eating it by itself, you might want it a little bit sweeter. So even though I do think it's a perfect loaf, and I think the amount of sugar probably impacts the crust, and the crust is perfect. I'm just thinking about the playing with the sugar and whether I would add more sugar next time. I'm not sure that I even know what I'll do with the next batch, but I am eager to make another batch. Um, and the other thing, remember, I told you I don't think I ever made a batch without apples because I couldn't find my dried apples. And instead, it has a kind of a minimal amount of dried pears. Now, I cannot find, after all the steaming and everything, I cannot find any skin. So the fact that the pears had skins on them, and originally, actually, when they came out of the dehydrator, were very hard. But after sitting out in the air for a bit, they reabsorbed the moisture. And then I chopped them very fine and steamed them. And this the skins are nowhere to be found. Actually, the pears are hard to find too. And I didn't over apricot this batch as I have done once before. Now, I used to go out of my way to get California apricots because I think they are tangier. They're very hard to find these days, and pretty much you can never find them unsulfured. And the recipe did come down to me, all these little things about how you mustn't use sulfur. So somehow in Mom's exploration of the bread, which in my mind is all 60s. You know, I wouldn't have any early memories from the 50s, but I would say my memories of her making this bread would probably go from all the Gray Lane years, moving there 63. I think that's when she said she met Patricia Sutton on the day of Kennedy's assassination, November of 63. And then so 63 to say 68, 69, those are the years sort of maybe overlapping with the pie company a little bit, but mostly the pre-pie company days would be the days I would think about her making multiple batches of this bread and having it to give to all of the neighbors, and always wrapping it in foil with that curling ribbon. That was very traditional. And this idea that sulfur would, when I inherited the making of the bread, which, when did I first start making it? I don't think I started making it until I left home. So maybe those early years with Tim, I would have been trying to make it. And this idea that sulfur would damage the yeast, or I didn't exactly know what. So it came with this warning, don't use sulfured fruit. And of course, they put the sulfur on the fruit to retain the color. So it's been a contrasting thing, and they've just very timidly moved away from that advice and started to use the sulfured apricots because they thought they were superior in flavor. And of course, they look prettier, but it's mostly the flavor that I was going for. And then it was sometime when I was making it in St. Helena when actually she said, oh, this has too many apricots. And I had to agree that the apricots kind of overwhelmed the bread, and I didn't think that was possible. So I would say that just that pound of nuts, I think my dad's notes, because my dad, after my parents were no longer together, my dad did keep making it. I don't remember my mom ever making it in the Bob years. If she did, I'm not aware of it. So it's all something that comes from my earlier childhood, and something that even though she likes to say it was such a flop, I don't think she thought of it as a flop at the time she was making it. It would come out very irregularly, you know, often doughy, but I don't think that she ever thought those loaves weren't even worth giving away. And as I tried to point out to her, she was juggling many, many things in those days. And she thought of this as just something she could whip up like a batch of chocolate chip cookies or something, you know, it's just so much more to the bread. But she just kept on doing it because she believed in it. So in terms of my whole quest to find the roots of the bread, we don't really remember Grandma making this in the early days, but we do know that there's a line somehow from Grandma making it to Mom making it, and then to Dad making it, and then to me making it. And I just enjoy the fact that it is an art and that it's not easy. That makes it better for me. And that way it feels more of a gift when it's something that, you know, can't, maybe the full nature of the fact that you can't really depend on it. It is a living, the yeast is a living thing, and it works better sometimes or differently at different times. And even though I think this loaf is the best classic bread, I think, oh, well, that would be fun. It could be a little spicier, but see, that wouldn't even appeal to everybody if I put more spices in it, because it's kind of it provides a foil for other things like the apricot jam and the butter, and it doesn't make too strong of a statement. But certainly so far with this loaf, my kneading to the extent that I did, this is pretty good that it got distributed so well. But also, I think that's a testament to the fact that the softness of the dough was just what I wanted it to be as well. And always the amount of flour that you add to something is dependent upon the humidity, you know. So often, like in English baking, they'll give you weights rather than cup measurements, and that's supposed to be much more precise than the way we do it here. But how much that potato water was potato and how much of it was water, I said there was a little extra, but a lot of that extra was basically extra potato, not extra water. So, you know, there's just a lot of variables that can make it come out differently. But I guess that's the end of this part about the why we do it. All right, thank you.